Hey guys, hoping all is well with everyone. So in our question of the day here today, we're going to be looking at a question relevant to 8th grade level math and is kind of in the core topics and ideas of addition and subtraction operations with polynomials. So on the left here, we are asked to simplify the expression quantity negative 4x squared plus 9x minus the quantity negative 6x cubed plus x squared minus 5x plus 2. So when we first look at this, in terms of operations with polynomials, it isn't too bad because it's likely taught around the same time that the operations with addition are brought into the curriculum with polynomial properties and attributes. Previously to this, we've learned how to combine like terms and the rules that we have to follow with combining like terms. The biggest thing that really causes simple mistakes with this type of question in terms of like the red flags are the properties and the components of the subtraction operation itself. Sometimes when students look at this, they think that they just have to subtract the terms that they see, and then they combine the like terms. What is very unique about the subtraction sign, especially when you see it outside of parentheses, is it almost acts like a multiplicative of -1 on all of the terms. So it is going to force what we call a sign change on all of the terms that are inside of the expression that is on the outside of it. So a strategy that we can take here is to really account for that in one of the steps we take. So the first step that we're going to take with this problem in terms of simplifying it is we're just going to go ahead and drop the first set of parentheses because it doesn't have anything outside of it like a coefficient or more in terms of relevant to this video, a minus sign. So we can go ahead. But one of the things that we've learned with like terms is that it's not just the value or coefficient in terms of a numerical quantity, but also qualitative, being the sign on it being positive or negative. So we always want to make sure that we account for that when we are combining our terms and simplifying expressions. Now, as a next step, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this in red. So this minus sign, again, what's going to happen is it's going to force a sign change on all of the terms that are in the second set of parentheses. So we have negative 6x cubed plus x squared minus 5x plus 2. So in our first step, what we can do to simplify is kind of the steps that you might take in a multi-step equation. Now, there are many routes that you can take with that, but some of the first steps that a student may often take is distribute the coefficient into the set of parentheses before starting to isolate the variable. So in this case, we can do the same thing. To simplify the expression, we're going to distribute a -1 into the second expression in parentheses. Now, essentially what happens with that is that all of these four terms are going to undergo a sign change. So anything that is currently negative is going to become positive, and vice versa. Anything that is originally positive is now going to become negative. So what we can do is let that kind of be its own step as well, following the distribution of -1. So we have negative 4x squared plus 9x -1 times negative 6x cubed is positive 6x cubed. So you're going to see how this undergoes a sign change. -1 times positive x squared is negative x squared. -1 times negative 5x is positive 5x. And then -1 times positive 2 is -2. So now what we've done is we've accounted for the operation of the minus sign by distributing its properties into each of the terms of the impacted expression. So now what we can do is, since every single term has not only a numerical quantity coefficient to it, we also have one that is qualitative, being that is positive or negative. So now what we can do is just go ahead and combine our like terms. I think I've mentioned this before, but if you haven't seen one of these videos in terms of the strategy of combining like terms, I've always been a fan of drawing arrows between my like terms. It allows me to keep things organized and kind of see what I'm combining. So remember, just as a quick recap and recall of like terms, they have to have the same exact variables, and each of those variables have to go to the same power. So negative 4x squared and negative x squared are like terms. I will combine them, and that's going to be negative 5x squared. Then we have positive 9x arrow to positive 5x. That's going to be plus 14x. And then 6x cubed doesn't have a combinable like term, and that's okay. We can still account for it, so that would be 6x cubed. And then same kind of case in point, the minus 2 doesn't have a other constant to combine with as well. And that's okay. Now, at this point in the question, one of the other red flags that is, if you were to receive this question as a multiple choice kind of type question, like in a standardized test or something, you probably wouldn't see it in this order. What they really are emphasizing with the terms of simplification of a lot of polynomials is that they're in standard form. And the final step that we're going to take here is representing this in standard form, which means that we're going to represent the terms in descending degree order, so from highest to lowest. So we have 6x cubed minus 5x squared plus 14x. Remember the exponent on that x, that 14x is going to be just 1. And if you ever want, and it helps you to keep organized, you can always put a 1 on it until you get towards the later stages of the question, and then you have your constant of minus 2. So the final answer here in standard form is going to be 6x cubed minus 5x squared plus 14x minus 2. Okay. If you guys do have any questions about this problem or any relative or similar problems to this, I'd be more than happy to help you guys out. But I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. And as always, please take good care and be safe. Bye.